What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping back into our Indie Comics weekend with Once and Future issue number 11. Now, it's been a while since we covered an issue from them, but the last time we had seen our heroes, we had Gran that was facing off against Grendel, and Grendel is tearing his way through a retirement home, ripping people apart, eating them alive, while Duncan is doing his best to be able to get there to save his grandmother. It doesn't look like Duncan is going to be able to make it in time, and Bridgette is going to have to take things into her own hands. Lucky for Bridgette, she has been at this for a very long time. Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we have Grendel that has just ripped apart some police officers. A momentary distraction, but now Grendel has turned his attention back to the elderly, back to Bridgette. The only weapon she has at her disposal is a knife, and she knows how to kill Grendel. In the story as it goes, she is supposed to tear off his arm. Doing this with a knife she knows isn't something that is an easy task, or even maybe a possible task. But she must do something to save the others. And so she tells them when she makes her move to run. This is when she goes up to Grendel. She tries talking to it. She tries distracting it. What really she's trying to do is get as close as she possibly can. Asking what's inside its mouth, it says people, and soon you. With that knife behind her back, she takes her opportunity. She takes that knife and she jabs it into the roof of Grendel's mouth. Screaming for the others to run, she makes a mad dash outside. As Gran tries to make her get away, this is where the taxi driver and Duncan are showing up. Showing up just in time to see Gran running away from this monster. He tells the taxi driver to speed up. As they go to ram the vehicle into Grendel, Grendel puts his fist down right on the hood of the car. This stops the car dead in its tracks. He grabs the car and he throws it to the side. Duncan trying to stop the monster. He is thrown over near his Gran, with all the guns in the vehicle. They are another one of those situations where Duncan is going to have to be the bait to stall the monster. And so while Duncan does everything he can to hold back this beast, really he's just trying to stop himself from being eaten alive. And Gran makes a dash for the tool shed. With Duncan seeing the knife in the mouth of Grendel, he pulls it out and he uses it to save his life. This is where Gran shows up, and she is now wielding a chainsaw. Wanting to bring all of this to an end, she brings that chainsaw down on his arm. With all of her might, she goes to chop off the arm of Grendel, cutting all the way through, the blood squirting in all directions. Grendel severely wounded. He makes his escape. As the story goes, he should run off and die just like in the poem. And watching all of this go down in the distance is his mother, is Duncan's mother. Working with Merlin, she sends word that the monster has been killed and that Duncan is here. The only thing Merlin tells her is to keep watch. But now that the monster is gone, Gran goes inside to tell everybody it is now safe. Completely covered in blood, everybody is absolutely terrified. And this is when the SWAT team shows up. After the other officers had just been completely obliterated, they came to see what was going on, asking Gran what happened, why do you have a bloody chainsaw, asking all of these questions. Gran tries to tell them that you guys just need to pack it up and you need to go home. But like any cop would, they quickly throw them into cuffs. They slam them on the ground, and they send word up of what's going on. At least, what's going on to their understanding. But somewhere higher up the chain, they are saying to release Duncan and Gran. The cops very reluctant to do so, but they release them. This is when Gran goes inside to talk to the others. They need to make sure that whatever these people think they saw, they did not see. Because knowing keeps the story alive. With people knowing, it allows for more otherworldly things to come through. And so she tries to say that maybe it was a bear, maybe it was something else. But whatever you try to do, try and forget. Nothing happened. And while many of them, they start to believe this. At least they're convincing themselves that maybe it was a bear. But there is one man. He asks why everybody is doing this. What they saw was clearly Grendel, and he knows what happens next. While everybody is celebrating what a good job they've done, there is still the mother that needs to show up. And in an instant, from this man's chest, we see a giant hand coming and bursting out of him. That is where we see Grendel's mother. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You guys already know I'm a huge fan of this story, with such a killer team attached to it, having Kieran Gillen, Dan Mora, and Tamara Bonvillain, all of their talents put together. They are an absolutely dynamite team. And don't get me wrong, I could be a little bit biased, not when it comes to their creative ability, but when it comes to the story itself, because I am a huge fan of folklore. While I personally don't believe in demons, I don't believe in angels, I don't believe in ghouls or goblins, I don't believe in ghosts, I don't believe in any of that stuff. But what I find fascinating is the idea of folklore, that at some point in human history, these are things that we did believe in. These are stories that we told, whether it be the Jersey Devil, whether it be changelings, gremlins, vampires, werewolves. All of these things are very fascinating because at one point in time in human history, we believe these things to be real. For example, the story of vampirism, it actually begins with tuberculosis, when people would end up with TB. For a time there in human history, they believed that it was your dead relative sucking your life from the grave. And so they would dig up the body. If I remember correctly, they either ate the heart or they burned the heart. There are even several accounts of it being staked. This is in fact where the idea for Dracula originally came from. And so human history as a whole, the idea of folklore and the stories that we have told throughout the years, they absolutely fascinate me. And I think that is one reason that I love this comic so much, is that it is bringing all of that lore together. It's bringing it all into one story, and it's telling you that it is real. That knowing of the stories, knowing that the stories are real, seeing Grendel, seeing Arthur, this is what makes the stories come to life. And so far, we've only gotten a couple folklore stories. I personally am very excited to see what comes out of Otherworld next. The possibilities are endless. But let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories, if you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with Once and Future. Be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with this story. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50. From loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only does this help out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. If you are unable to do that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.